Bakati takati kalima. Mohete kalima. 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 I know what you're all thinking right now. You're watching this review thinking, that has got to be the corniest black guy I've seen in my entire life. And you know what? You're right. Anyway. Hey guys, anyway, this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the second film in the Indiana Jones series, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now, Temple of Doom is actually a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I believe it takes place a year before Raiders, and it basically revolves around, it starts off in this Shanghai nightclub, and it ends up going to India. We follow Indiana Jones going to India, and he comes across this village where basically all the kids are being enslaved, and you find out that the whole land is under the curse of the Kali Ma, which is this dark Hindu god, I guess. In order to restore peace to the village, Indiana Jones has to find, I believe, 3 Sankara stones, which were actually made up by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, because all the other items exist in some shape or form in mythology. This movie definitely takes a much darker turn from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's darker than Last Crusade. And interesting to note, the film, actually, this movie made Spielberg look, and he said, we need another rating. They had PG, they had G, and they had R. And he felt that they needed something in between. That this is a movie that I guess younger, preteens, teens could watch, but really small kids probably wouldn't be watching this film. So they came up with the rating PG-13, and I think it was great that he did, because I cannot picture ever seeing a movie like this as a little kid and being the same. I think this would have traumatized me, honestly. So yeah, that was probably a wise choice. Alright guys, I'm just going to be a man and admit that I was actually scared to watch Temple of Doom for the first time. And I was 15 years old, keep in mind. But yeah, I was scared to watch it because I knew about the heart getting pulled out and the heart getting pulled out. So I was scared to watch this film. So go ahead and laugh all you want to, guys. You're scared to watch Temple of Doom. You're such a big baby. Alright, moving on. Anyway, I still wanted to watch the film, though, because as I said in my Raiders review, I did buy the whole box set trilogy, and I have been dying to see these films for a long time. I loved Raiders of the Lost Ark, so I was pretty excited to watch this movie. I also came to the movie knowing that it had a bit of a bad rap. Plenty of people felt that this was the weakest of the Indiana Jones films, and keep in mind, this was before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out. So, yeah, a lot of people didn't really like Temple of Doom much, or those who did liked it less than 1 and 3. But then you had those few people who said it was their favorite film in the series, so it just kind of varied from different people. I actually really liked Temple of Doom. I had a lot of fun with the film. Starting off with the characters, you've got Indiana Jones. Once again, he's in top form. Great as always, Harrison Ford, and yeah, he gets to do a lot of cool stuff here. You see him at that nightclub scene in the beginning, Club Obi-Wan, and later on, he jumps out of a plane onto a raft. No, I feel one of two ways about Short Round generally whenever I watch this film. There are moments where I find him incredibly entertaining and hilarious, and then there are moments where I find him really irritating. And I just want to see Indy give him a good whack, basically. But I usually like Short Round. I usually think he's a pretty cool kid. So, it just depends. You call him Dr. Jones. Kate Capshaw, the future Mrs. Spielberg, is infamous in this film for her role as Willie Scott, because all she really does is yell and scream and whine and complain all the time. And a lot of people do not like, a lot of people hate, and I mean hate her performance in this movie. And honestly, I honestly can say that I've seen worse. She doesn't really bother me a whole lot in this film. I don't know, maybe it's because I just think she's really attractive in this film and I can get past it. And I know that's a kind of sexist thing to say, but it's true. Now, the most interesting character in this film, aside from Indy himself, of course, would have to be Mola Ram, the villain of this film. I mean, you just see that guy coming in. The first thing you see him is during that sacrifice that they're having. You know, he's all wearing that red and black, and he's got, you know, face paint, and he's wearing horns and stuff, and he just has that look in his eyes, that insane look in his eyes. Like, this guy is just not there. You know, he's just way beyond cure. He might be my favorite Indiana Jones villain, but he is insanely creepy. I would say that the scene where the heart gets pulled out, you can look at it one of two ways. You know, either it's very campy. You know, you might look at it and be like, oh, haha, you know, that's so silly and goofy. But then at the same time, in the context of the scene, it's extremely scary and extremely unnerving. And for me, generally, when I watch the film, it's usually a cross between both nowadays. Like, you know, on one hand, that heart looks absolutely ridiculous, as does the pit of fire and all that. But then at the same time, it's very creepy in context of the scene, in context of the story. It's very scary. Another scene that I actually, I think it plays most for last, but I look at it in the same kind of regard, is the scene where Indy and Willie Scott and Short Round, where they're all having dinner with the other members of the temple, before they know that it's a cult, a secret cult being formed and stuff. They're having dinner, and they find out that they're having, you know, stuff like chilled monkey brains and all this crap. And, you know, the chilled monkey brains are the only ones that really stand out for me right now. And, you know, I find that scene kind of hard to watch personally. It just really gets me. And, I mean, on one hand, it's very silly and it's humorous, but at the same time, it's that kind of stuff that probably keeps people from enjoying Temple of Doom as much as Raiders or Last Crusade. I'm not always the biggest fan of gross out humor, so you know, I mean, it's fine for what it is, but that's one of the scenes that kind of makes me go, Temple of Doom, do I really want to watch Temple of Doom? Once again, like with Raiders, my favorite element of this film, and I believe the strongest element of this film, is the action, hands down. So many great action scenes in this film. So much unbelievable stuff going on. The scene where he jumps out of the plane on the raft and lands on the water, on the river. That's very cool. And my favorite action scenes in this film, where you have the fight with him and that big Indian guy, which is kind of a variation on the fight around the plane in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Though I personally prefer that fight. But this one's very good too. But my two favorite action scenes in this film are the minecart chase, and then the chase, and then the bridge scene at the end where Indy slices the bridge. Regarding the minecart chase, what I really love about it is just incredibly exciting, incredibly exhilarating, and I just love how you just see all the fumes and all the gases and stuff, all the smoke. You know, you just see all that red glowing everywhere, and it creates a very ominous feeling as they're being chased by the members of the cult. And yeah, it's very cool to watch. And regarding the bridge scene, what I really love about that scene, other than how exciting the action is, I love the fact that even though Indy slices the bridge, you look at his face and you can see the guy is so scared. He's not just doing it. He's not all like, oh, I'm going to slice this bridge. I'm Indiana Jones. I'm not scared. I'm going to slice this bridge, you know, because I'm a real man. No, he's actually scared. He is scared. You see his face. But he still does what he has to do to save his friends and to save himself. And I really, really like that. John Williams, once again, does the score. And the score is very good. You know, very good once again. I might prefer the Raider score a bit because it has like the themes like the Ark theme and and all that other stuff, all that other jazz, but this is still very good too. I guess it's just some of the gross out humor, like during that dinner scene and stuff, that really keep me from loving Temple of Doom on the same level that I love Raiders of the Lost Ark or Last Crusade. That's just me personally. And I feel like for a lot of people, even though Raiders is a film that if you're like one of the queasiest of people, you might not do extremely well with it. I'm actually a very queasy person, but at the same time, I like to be scared and I like to be freaked out. Especially if it actually feels like it really has a purpose in the story. And in Raiders it definitely does, with Indy Spear snakes and all that. And you're right there with them, and that's what makes it work. And I guess the same is true to an extent with Temple of Doom. It really does. It really, I feel the same way watching that film. And that's one of the things I can appreciate. The fact that I do like to be scared a bit. I do like that this film is different from Raiders, that it decided to go a different route. I think that ultimately benefits the film and makes it stand out. But at the same time, you do miss seeing Indiana Jones beat Nazis to a pulp. You do miss that, because with Raiders and Crusade, you just kind of feel that American spirit whenever you see him doing that. Because, I mean, we all hate Nazis. We hate Nazis. They're some of the lowest form of human beings on this planet. And just seeing him beat him to a pulp, it just gives you immense satisfaction as a viewer. And this film's kind of missing that, because, I mean, yeah, these Indian guys, these cult guys, sure, they're enslaving these kids, and, they're scary, and they're but you don't really feel the same hatred for them that you feel towards those Nazis, because those Nazis are just despicable. You don't really get that here. When it comes to rating this film, it's kind of hard for me, because on one hand I'm rating it as an indie film, but then I'm rating it as a movie as well. And I feel that Raiders of the Lost Ark is so perfect as an indie film and as a film. It's just so great all around that I gave it an A+. I mean, it's just excellent in all regards. Temple of Doom is a little different, because I feel like it's great as an indie film. And there are aspects about it that show that it's a very well-made film, but at the same time, there are certain aspects about it that make it a little less great as a film, in my opinion. So putting those two together, see, if I was rating this solely as an indie film, I would probably give it a B+ or an A-. But I'm rating it as an indie film and as a film, and averaging those two together, I'm going to have to come out with a B. Yeah, it gets a B, which is still a good rating for me. I like it a lot. But I just don't think it's quite as easy to return to as Raiders of the Lost Ark or The Last Crusade. I watch those way more often. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review, and just let me know what you think. Do you think Temple of Doom is underrated? Do you feel like it's the best out of the original three, at least, or do you think it's like the worst one, the weakest one? And also, who is your favorite Indiana Jones villain? Is it Mola Ram? The Kalima, all that? Does that really do something for you, or is it somebody else? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this review. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please click the like button if you like this review. And anyway, stay tuned for my review of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Anyway, guys, this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy, signing off.